That's the reason.
Okay, good evening. How is everybody?
Good.
It's a huge crowd here this evening. I will call to order the October 12th regular meeting of the Bethel Fire Commission. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm gonna jump a little out of order here. Right to the consideration of approval of the minutes from the special meeting on September 21st, 2022, which we were all emailed a copy and we have in front of us.
Make that motion.
Okay, so Fred made a motion to accept, approve those minutes. Any discussion? Or I'll second the motion. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Stay.
Okay, approved. Let's see. Next up, is there any public comment? Assume we have no public comment. Is there anybody on Zoom?
Nope.
All right, that takes care of that. So, going into our correspondence, we'll start with, I think we'll let each chief give a chief's report and then we'll go from there. So you chiefs can decide who would like to start.
Oh, whoever I can do it. I have for you tonight, the Cayman glass. Rich and I have discussed that at length. That's been in the works for quite a while.
Oh, this is
That's all the
garage
stuff on
door.
the exterior of the building.
Okay,
One door that's rotted in the back.
yeah,
The EMS room, that door's rotted. It's got to be replaced.
okay,
He split it all up as I asked him to, so that it can be done over time or
Okay.
together. It's up to you, gentlemen.
Okay.
This is for the porta potty I discussed with you.
yeah,
There's notes on that I'll be able to tell you about. This was the letter that we sent to for the ARPA funds for the pagers. We asked for 20 pagers through ARPA funds.
okay,
We sent that letter to Tom Gallagher because he's the public safety representative that was
Yep.
put on the ARPA committee.
yeah,
We've had such a huge influx of members that we're out of pagers.
gotcha.
So
Did you get a response on this yet?
we have not.
Okay,
We have not. I don't even know if they've held a meeting since we sent that letter in. I
He
have no
thought he
idea.
might be here tonight.
So,
Seems like
either zoom in or be here.
I believe you all have the packet for the overhead doors.
yeah,
That was one of the items I asked to be added to the agenda so you could discuss it tonight, because last time we couldn't do a special meeting.
meeting, yep,
The itemized list there that Fred's looking at now was just to present to you gentlemen tonight, so you can all get copies made and lose it. I wasn't looking to put anything on you.
can you just verify that this is the most up-to-date one that I know?
79,500.
7/21/22, that is correct. Yes,
Here, Peter.
yep,
I got it.
that's correct. We've been through three different vendors that we got prices on, and this seems to be the best deal. He's the guy right here in Bethel.
Good, and the Cayman glass is all exterior windows.
It's all the exterior of the building.
Yeah.
Especially that one big stairwell with all the glass in it,
Okay,
that actually Rob, who did this quote,
yeah,
was a worker bee at the time and actually replaced all that glass with a couple other guys
gotcha,
before. And he said that this time now, it's gonna have to be everything, frame, like they did here in this building and in the schools,
Okay.
frame, glass, everything, energy efficient, blah, blah, blah. So I asked him to,
in the breakdown, is it
I asked him to
listed
put
as
it
the
all in
most,
there.
most priority?
He just put it all in there. I, you know,
Okay.
I perused it quickly and then made sure I made a copy for you guys for tonight.
Oh, this, no, I'm saying that's not, that's it.
Oh, this
That's all.
Garage door.
Oh, I'm talking about the Cape Ann one.
No, I'll send it down there down the drive.
Yeah, one of my other requests was just that we be able to comment every meeting if that could be a normal agenda item.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chief's report for both of us where we could get up and speak with you and comment and there could be a back and forth. if need
Yes,
be.
100%. Do you wanted to go in? I'll go in. I'll use this as an item. We'll move on to the portable pond.
Right, the other thing was the porta pond I put on there, and like I said, when you want to talk about that, there's things I found out now that
Okay,
change the scope,
okay,
unfortunately.
got it.
And the other thing was just the changes to the commission that had been discussed 2 meetings ago,
Yes,
just was
I know. I was gonna have
wondering where you guys
Doug
were at.
draft
with
a
that.
letter to
Right,
present to Marty. He's not gonna see me. I'll touch base with him and then.
right.
Actually,
because-
that's right.
I can give you some information on it because I saw, I read the minutes.
Perfect. What do you got?
Okay, well, it was, the commission was made by ordinance.
Yeah,
So we have to go back to the board of selectmen for, I mean, we can make a recommendation to the board of selectmen. The board of selectmen makes, approves it or disapproves it.
okay.
And it has to go to a public hearing.
Does that go for them having a?
Yeah.
Right,
because
right, yeah, and I understood that
Okay,
when I
Because
suggested that.
the language just says the one person,
okay.
it doesn't say or,
So do we have to draft you a letter to present to the,
yeah,
Okay.
we should.
Okay.
But,
when's your next
Oh.
meeting?
it's Tuesday night.
Oh,
Well, what are your thoughts on it, Rich?
Well, I,
Did you understand the reason
yeah, well,
behind it?
yeah, they should have, and
Right.
most boards have an alternate.
I
If they
mean,
can't make
right.
it, that someone else could represent the board,
Right.
the firehouse, you know?
That was my intention, to
Yeah.
have it written in a way that if Chief Baker or I couldn't be here.
Right,
Our
your
designated
lieutenant or
come.
somebody, whoever you pick to be
Right,
your
and
alternate.
speak
I mean,
on behalf of us.
Most
as the
boards
fire
and
department,
commissions
so-
have alternates.
Yeah.
Right,
So that's one thing. And then, if you wanna make a proposal that you wanna add a couple more members to the commission, we talked about that before. And also, I think we should make it a monthly go around rather than quarterly. So what we do is
Draft
send it
that
to the
up.
board of selection, then we go to a public hearing. And, once it's approved, then after 30 days of public notice, then it becomes.
Okay.
Fact.
All right, so we'll, I'll get you a letter for Tuesday.
Okay, well, but do we want to discuss it more? Do you,
Yeah, well, I mean,
you feel you want to add more members?
well, I feel,
Well-
I definitely want to add the
Well,
alternate.
because it's a big process to do, so if
Yeah.
you want to do more things, this would be the time to do it.
All right, so, well, I definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
And then, Fred brought up the,
Yeah, it
Go ahead.
wasn't necessarily my thought to add members. It was more my thought to replace the selectman's position with a senior member from Stony Hill. Only because I never thought a selectman should be on the commission because we report to the board of selectmen.
Yeah,
So it's kind of
Well-
redundant to have a selectman on the commission. Because not only is it redundant, but then it also gives that person 2 votes on any item
well,
that we
you
bring
can bring
forth.
it up before the board of selectmen. and-
Yeah, no, I'm just sharing my thoughts with you.
I understand
what
what your
where it
point
came
was,
from.
but the point was originally to put a member of the board of selectmen on because of some of the prior problems with the houses and everything. And we felt it would be more of a direct relationship and having someone from the board of selectmen on the fire commission. But, if that's your feeling, I mean, you can bring it forward.
Yeah, no, my biggest thing was I just thought it was redundant to have a member
Yeah.
on the commission
Well-
and then we report to the entire board of selectmen. It just
You
seems-
just
Generally, I
make
vote-
the
I generally
selectmen
vote for
non-voting.
everything that they want, and I would not do that, against, I wouldn't turn around and vote against something that I voted for here, you know what I'm saying?
No, I understand it.
So, I support the houses, so. I'm sorry, what, Peter? You had-
No, it's just gonna say make the selectmen non-voting.
do that too.
that's what we are, not voters.
all right, so,
My last thing under my report would be the 5-year capital.
That's good, that's great.
Okay, this, I think you guys said you wanted at this meeting. Well, here you go.
John, did I skip you giving a
And
report?
I'm sorry, I didn't
No.
sign it, but I can sign it
What's that?
after.
Well, no, I feel like I got into this,
That's it for me,
to this next topic.
for my report.
Oh, he asked, that's why, never mind.
Yeah.
I was making sure I didn't jump to the next thing. So, well, you were, since he brought it up under his report, we'll come back to the discussion. of
Okay,
the-
yeah.
The positions, and I'll let John talk, all right?
No, as far as what I have is just what's been outstanding over the last couple of meetings. Where does it stand with the chief's truck? Where does it stand with the AEDs that I had asked for, the camera systems? You know, I'm just trying to finalize outstanding requests. I'm not asking for anything else, and I don't think that the 5-year plan that I originally put in off the 10-year plan has really changed much.
Yep, and I got, that's this one, right?
Correct.
Sorry, did the AEDs, did that go to a board of selectmen meeting? 'Cause you
The
didn't-
what?
No,
No, right, because that was last month.
correct.
So
They
we're-
don't- they
so it'll
only
go-
had just the one board of
So it'll
selectmen.
go to this next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the other thing you had mentioned?
The camera system?
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be the same thing, right? Because that was last month. Also.
Correct.
Yeah. It's
All right.
probably all just gotta follow.
Yeah, there's 3 things: the United Alarm Video Surveillance, replace the AEDs, and the purchase of security camera system through the town's IT department.
And just to give you a heads up, I talked to Nick. He said that the fiber optic system has been turned on for the 2 firehouses. It's just a matter of him installing the actual hardware to get it to work. He had to do some upgrades, I believe, at Stony Hill, just because the hardware would be too slow for it.
Gotcha. Okay. So he took care of the upgrades, or
It's in the process. It's
Okay. retrieving account.
Well, about the camera systems that came up to go to Board of Selectmen for approval for funding to pass it on to the Board of Finance. Why is Nick from IT doing some of the cameras, but United Alarm is doing the other cameras?
Ours was started with United Alarm, with United Alarm all the way through. John went and talked to Nick to see if maybe Nick could help him, and Nick said, well, I can do it.
Yeah, I think.
So, and the difference in
They
the
got it done,
money
they
is, of
realized.
course, you're already paying Nick.
Yeah,
You're already paying. You see what I mean? And you're
well, we're
already
already paying, so
and you're already
he
paying
can't do the
building
ones at
maintenance
your
tax.
firehouse?
paying. I'm sorry?
Can he do the ones at your firehouse?
He probably could. I don't know if you want to do that because everything else has been installed by one company. You know. That's the thing. It's 4 cameras and then we're done.
Okay.
The other thing is with the town, I do certain things with the town and certain things out. Because, and I'm sure both John and Fred could vouch for this. You know, they're taking care of 40+ buildings. So, you know, sometimes you get stuff done right away when you need it. Sometimes you gotta wait. And you gotta wait a long
Sometimes
time.
you gotta pay for that.
So, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just the way it is.
Because I think that question will come up.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Okay.
But that's why they've done all the lock systems and all the interior cameras, all the wiring, et cetera. They've done everything. They've put in all the infrastructure for everything also. So.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that at the last meeting. I thought that that might get some discussion going with the price difference between the 2 departments. Like Chief McCollum said, you know, that work was started under the previous administration in his department. And, you know, he's kind of finishing it up, you know, with the one vendor that started it 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
It's taken almost 2 years to get it finished. We're almost there.
You know, maybe it's wise just to touch base with Nick to see if,
I
you
do
know,
that.
in case, you know, you get pushback from the Board of
Yeah.
Selectmen and the Board of Finance on it and say, you know, no, we're not gonna fund
I
that.
can do that. and ask
You know,
him if
just touch
I-
base with them and say, hey, you know, these 4 cameras, you know, could you do them for us?
Are
Yeah, I
the,
can
are the
ask him.
cameras purchased currently, or that was part of?
That's part
alarm
of that.
deal?
The
Okay,
cameras are included in that.
okay.
The cameras and hardware to hang them are included in that.
Okay.
Just a side note, the AEDs, I did check, we have life packs, they're all good.
Oh, okay, good.
And BBFD Inc. did buy all of them, including the one that's up in the public hall of the firehouse on the 2nd floor.
Okay.
So yes, next time when they fail,
You'll come to us.
we'll be coming before the commission.
Okay. All right. So then we'll go onward and I think we'll start with, we'll discuss first, John will touch base on your truck, see where we're at with that. Anybody been mulling that over at all? I had one question for you I remember last time when we were discussing this thing, Doug had found a difference in the cap or something that,
Correct. Well, first of all, the cost of the slide out was in two places that eliminated some of the costs.
that's the one I was
And
trying to.
the cap was in there once because the original one that was coming from the truck dealership was just a bare minimum stock aluminum one.
Okay,
And I was looking at going with a molded fiberglass, color matched with a full door with the removal of the gate.
okay. So if you did that, the one that would come with the truck could be removed.
So that was right. So that's why I had that separate invoice from Cap City.
Okay, so the Cap City total would be included, right?
Correct.
And then what would be removed from the Jangers one?
The slide out and the cap. Backside. All right. Eliminated that from the cover sheet.
So the Jangers bid was. I just wanted to make sure it was, that's so that, if, I was just saying, if there's stuff in here that could be removed, I want to make sure it's removed so that we're looking at the right price. Peter, I'll send this down to you in 1 second. Okay. I will say, I did a little looking at, well, I looked at yours and it's the research, and I think you're kind of getting into the ballpark of the going rate, so.
Right. And that's the problem is, things are fluctuating so much with having, accurate bid prices when you're waiting out so long.
Yeah. Under Fleet Auto Supply, they have a surface mount rear cap. What's that? Is that? Take a look. All right. I think you didn't get a copy of that, right? Last week. No, you weren't here last week. Thoughts on this subject?
Well, I think he needs to replace the vehicle for sure.
Yeah,
And it's. I think there was a lot of money in there for radios.
yeah, there's like 15,000, right, for radio?
Yep.
Well, I specifically told them that I did not want multiple radios. Those are basically 3 radios with 2 heads.
Okay,
For the front and then the rear, and that was it, instead of going with individualized radios for the front and back. And it was 1 VHF, 1 UHF, and 1
that's what's on there.
800, correct.
Okay.
The only other question I had on it was, so I don't know if it was you or Doug had mentioned, a pickup truck versus an SUV. And then Chief had said he preferred the pickup truck because he wanted to set it up not only as a command vehicle, but also as a first responder vehicle. Because they respond a lot of mutual aid to other towns. And
So I remember,
I kind of question is, why are we, how do we justify an expense to respond to other towns?
Well, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to utilize it as a first responder vehicle within a town. All of those tools and items that I keep in the back of that are also used within the town of Bethel. So the Speedy Dry gets used if I'm first on scene of a car accident. Barricades that I have in there are used if I'm first seen on any calls in Bethel. So it's not that it's going to be used as a mutual aid vehicle, and that's why I'm building a pickup truck. It's because I'm also a firefighter if I'm not in command, if I'm going either downtown or during the day, if manpower short, I can get things started with the equipment that I have in the vehicle. There's multiple fire extinguishers in there, water cans, and a dry chem. There's a set of irons, a chainsaw. So that slide out is basically almost going to be 50% command and 50% as a first responder vehicle. There's going to be shelter compartment for medical equipment. Obviously, the AED I'm trying to replace would be the one for my truck as well. And then as far as the electronics, it would also include charging for flashlights, for a gas meter. So it's going to be dual purpose.
So my concern was more with all of the options. There's some of them are valid, but the STX package, the XLT trim package, Sirius satellite radio.
Well, the satellite radio is basically
Yeah, it's a
6-month
trial,
and then
yeah, yeah.
you don't pay for it.
Right.
Um, the,
Actually, they're charging you for it. Yeah, and this one is a knock. It retail stock to Fleet. Wait, order it through Fleet. How dare they charge you $2,000 just to pull it off the retail floor?
What's the delivery date that if you order one?
At this point, not sure you could get this truck, period.
Yeah.
that's the problem that I'm finding.
Yeah.
is You can't
Well,
find
that-
availability for
and
trucks.
the
anywhere.
truck's not available.
Because we're like kicking the can down the
We have
road.
that same problem buying pickup trucks for building maintenance and public utilities.
Yeah, no, they're not available.
They come in with an XL truck. What are you doing with that XL
Right.
truck out here?
Now, if they're willing to do a deal and no one's stealing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my only objection, of, the two trim packages and upgrades.
One of the reasons why I went with the larger package was they were looking at a larger charging system for having all the lights and the power.
Oh, no, that's separate. That's additional, the heavy duty
Alternator.
alternators. Yep. That's extra.
So for like a tow package.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
the dual
that's,
battery.
Yeah. snowplow
yep. So it's the
That
XLT
was-
trim package, which is the power package, stripes, the STX package is striping. But yeah, that would be my only objection. You need the heavy duty alternator, you need big tires, everything else is little shit. Yep. Yeah, they charge you for the batteries are separate from the trim packages, because the trim packages are retail packages.
Do we have a breakdown of the truck and then the
Yeah.
accessories?
Yep. You know, that one's been kicking around for a while.
So it's-
Is this off a state contract?
Yes,
And the state contract allows for that $2,000? Needs better procurement officers.
Somebody's making money.
Yeah,
Bring it back there, right?
and I'm sure there's, a little extra something for buying it in Connecticut.
All right,
You want a motion? I'll make a motion.
all right.
I'll make a motion that we forward to the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, the Chief Command Fire Response Truck. Total bid, it's a state contract bid in the amount of $107,180.14.
Got a second? I'll second.
Well, now we can discuss it.
Any discussion?
No, we just did.
I mean, I would like to maybe try to get like a Tahoe to save money, but I mean, I get both sides of your coin, you know, I mean. When you're throwing Speedy Dry in a Chiefs
You know,
truck,
if-
you're kind of saying my
Right. and I
crews
like
aren't
the fact
responding,
that-
so I gotta do that.
I like the fact that
That's kind of,
carcinogens and everything that is used at fire is outside the passenger car.
I got you. I get where you're.
No, it should be a pickup truck. FDNY got rid of all the Chief Suburbans years ago, and it's all pickup trucks. It
All right,
makes
is
more
this-
sense.
Is this
Do we need a
I,
4-door pickup truck versus a 2-door pickup?
yeah, I'm just gonna ask that. Is
Oh, I
this-
think you gotta have.
Yeah, crew cab truck.
Yeah, I think it has.
I think it has to be because.
Yeah, well,
if you
that, yeah,
need it to-
that-
to
that's
move
what it is.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
You don't want to limit yourself.
yeah. No, I just.
Does
wanted to
anyone
make
even
sure it
buy
was.
2-door pickup trucks
They're actually,
anymore?
I can tell you, they're very hard to get. All right,
Did they ever find theirs?
no, well, again, I got wrecked and they bought a Ingersoll, got them a Chevy. Okay, so no further discussion. We'll have a vote, all in favor of the recommending to the Board of Selectmen for the purchase of the state bid of $107,108.14 for the Chiefs truck, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, so your motion carries. We will pass that along. You're welcome. The next item that you had pushed forward for me for discussion was just wanted status on the, you said fleet study. Were you regarding the thing that I asked you about? Is that what you're, like that
Yes.
motion I had made? So just so you know, so you're not confused, that was not just a fleet study, that was an overall emergency services study. And I am in the process of working with somebody to write the specs a little better to get to Rich. I wanted to change some things they brought up, but so once I get that going, I will get that to Rich to bring to the Board of Selectmen and get that ball rolling. But that's not really just, so you're not confused, that's not just to study the fleet. My goal with that was to overall study of the,
Well, I was just concerned to see if it was going to be ready for budget season.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know if it will be, but I mean,
It's getting tight now.
I don't think it's a drastic change, for
Because
one,
obviously that's going to be in the capital
for 1 year. Yeah.
request.
Yeah. I have to talk to the other powers to be, maybe we can put a number in as a whole number for some of this.
Yeah, I can try to.
We
get
can
you
work
a
off of that
general
number.
I can get you a general number.
Yeah,
So that was where we stand with that. I just wanted to make sure, it wasn't just for the fleet. But we're working on that. Did you have any other items you want to add going forward? Okay. The chief has the bay doors. We'll discuss that now.
You need to usually add that.
Yeah, so we're gonna add the bay doors for the headquarter or downtown station. And we have an updated quote, which we got last meeting. I gave you one, right, Peter?
Yep.
Ready to get you on to see it. So this is definitely significantly different than the original one over the
Yes,
summer,
yes.
That was the question.
which was number on the whole packet here. What's
what's the new number?
I gotta find the front page, where'd it go?
The number's 79.5.
5, all right, that's the one I have.
That was the number,
Okay.
that's what was vetted through both Bob Dibble and Eric. Then passed it back to me to bring to you, gentlemen.
All right. And that's, that's all the doors, installation, everything, soup to nuts.
All inclusive. As I said before, if you go over to the Bubble in Danbury and look across the street to the same exact doors.
Were they installed by the same company?
I believe he did install those.
Oh, okay.
They're the same doors.
Yeah.
And he said they're just as good as the other doors that were being pushed. They also have a 3-inch track instead of a 2-inch track with 3-inch wheels instead of 2-inch wheels, which Jack explained to me. 2 inch is basically something for like homeowner. He said, you should have a bridge because they're going up and down all the time. And that's the industrial strength ones. He said, the tracks we have now, most of the tracks are original. He said, and he looked at them, he said, you know, the reason they probably haven't been changed is because of the way they put them in to begin with.
Gotcha.
He said, it's gonna be a PIA to get them out,
Okay.
but he said it can be done and replace the bridge.
Okay. Go ahead.
My concern about all the glass. It's single pane glass. There's a lot of glass. You're gonna have a lot of well, not air filtration, but cold filtration through the glass. I spoke to Jack about it and he said you really don't want to put insulated glass on those doors because it adds a lot of weight to those doors.
Right, I asked that same question, and he
Yeah.
also said that the problem with the insulated glass in garage doors, because they're always moving,
moving,
is
Yeah,
that
right, one second.
They break the seal.
the seal gets broken, and then you've got a fire.
Yeah.
One or two
They-
fire
Yeah, the
panes,
seals break down.
and then you're replacing panes all the time. He says, with the single glass, the single pane like that, he says, you're not replacing them unless they get broken,
Yeah.
which is rare. And he said, you're really not losing because the doors seal up so well, you're really not losing much if anything. As long as the doors are down when they should be down, which this system, they go down automatically.
Yeah.
Because just like, it's the same system Stony Hill has.
Right.
Same exact system, the red light, green light system.
I mean, my concern is, I mean, that building originally had all glass bay doors, and those doors were replaced with the energy efficient doors that are there now, you know, the insulated doors. I don't know, I'm just not seeing this as a priority right now. I understand there's been some repairs and some ongoing needed repairs, but I think if we got those doors onto a regular maintenance schedule and got up to date on the repairs, those doors should be fine the way they are. That's just my personal opinion.
Like I said, I did call Jack today and ask him about the glass. He did indicate that the bottom panel is a solid panel,
Yes, it is.
and that is an insulated panel.
Mhm.
But, you know, I asked him, you know, what is the condition of the doors? And he thought, in his opinion, that they would last a little bit longer. He did suggest maybe replacing the motors on them and installing the light system on it. So I asked about, you know, if we replace the door openers, would they be compatible with new doors in the future? And he did say yes to that. You know, we're talking 79 plus here, but I haven't seen the estimate on the other front windows, so. Maybe when DJ comes back, we could see what that is. And maybe we can do a
You know, the
compromise.
building was built in 1966, and I'm just trying to take care of it and get it back up to where it should be. Because let's face it, it wasn't, and it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, personally,
That's
I
what
would
I'm
see
trying
some of that glass and some of those doors that Rich is looking at now is more of a priority. In my opinion, that would be more of a priority than the garage doors. I mean, that glass in the front vestibule is all the seals are broken on that and all full of condensation. I know the door you speak of is all rotted out in the back.
It
And
is
I don't
rotted
even think it closes properly anymore. Unless you like really
We
slam
still get
it.
it closed, but it needs to be replaced, the frame and the door.
That's the K-Man project.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are this, the 72,000, that's just for the one project? And then the 9,000 is another project, and
Yeah,
the 30,000 is
he
another
broke it all
project?
down for you, like I told you, I told him I wanted it broken down.
There's
so
a
you
significant
gentlemen
amount
all
of
see
money
it.
here.
Yeah.
Because I said, you know, probably can't all be done at once.
Right.
So
And
if you break it down, maybe they can
Did
do
you-
one thing and then another, you know.
did you prioritize this?
I haven't prioritized
okay.
it myself yet, Rich,
Okay,
no.
all
I
right. No, I'm
wanted
just
to make
asking.
sure I got it to you gentlemen tonight, so the copies could be made and you could all look at it, and then I can prioritize it, and at the next meeting, you know, we can have the Q&A on it, and I can explain why I have it prioritized the way I did.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And,
Um,
where do we leave?
Well, I don't know how long you were here, you know, I questioned all the glass.
Yep.
that was in the doors.
Okay,
You know.
in
I-
the overhead doors.
On the overhead doors.
Yeah.
I did have the discussion with Jack, the owner of couple overhead doors.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, if the motors on those doors were in bad shape, and we could replace the motors and put the signal system in, the
Yeah.
red light system.
Yeah.
And it would be compatible for new doors in the future.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I mean, I'd
No
much
light
rather
system.
see that because, I mean, security in that building seems to be an issue. I mean, I know I drove by that building at 2 o'clock in the morning the other day, and every single bay door was open, and there was not a soul in the building.
That's where I want this system. That's exactly what I've been.
There should be some
explaining to you guys.
personal accountability too. There's no excuse for every bay door to be open at 2 o'clock in
There
the
is
morning.
personal accountability. You were chief there too. You have the same problem I'm having now. Let's face it, it's an ongoing problem. It is.
Right.
And when I catch people doing it, they get talked to about it and told, you know, you gotta do it or else. But, you know, we can't be there. You couldn't be there 24/7. I can't be there 24/7. Just can't, it can't happen. So I think the best option is the red light, green light, which at least puts the doors down 3 minutes after the apparatus goes out the bed.
And we'll replace the motors that are aged out.
I believe Jack told me that he thought one motor had been replaced, but all the others looked to be close to original.
Yeah.
I noted the-
Or the, I
motor
think
in
he
the tower
mentioned the
basement
ambulance
replaced.
They
door.
got
back.
it replaced, yeah.
I think he mentioned the ambulance door to me because that gets the most use.
Keeps failing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just call, I have him on speed dial. I just call him and say,
Yeah.
Jack, and he knows. He's like, yeah, okay.
So then I guess my real one question would be if we did the motors and the red light, green light system. And you said it's compatible for replacement in the future. Does that include if they went to 3-inch track? That-
Yeah, the track is the weight of the doors, so.
Okay.
If the doors, if the motors are suitable to lift the current doors and the future doors.
Okay. Then I guess I'll make a motion that we recommend to the Board of Selectmen to have the required motors.
Well, we're gonna have to get a quote for that.
Okay. So do we have to, what do we want to
You
do?
think we can get a quote from Jack by Tuesday?
Call him tomorrow for you.
Okay. For the needed motors that need to be repaired as well as an installation of the, what's the name of that?
Red lights.
Red light, green light, safety system.
Red light, green light safety
Yeah,
system.
that's what everybody, I don't know, it's the commercial name, but that's what everybody calls it.
Okay.
So Chris, I think you had mentioned that after the trucks go out, the doors will close automatically within so many minutes.
Yes, they will.
Okay.
You have the red light, green light system. Can you, what is that? I've never,
It basically is like LED lights
yeah,
at the, you know, if you're sitting in the truck in the right side of the doors.
yeah.
And it has a red light and a green light. So when the door is fully up,
It's green.
it'll change its green.
Okay. It's like
Anything
a
else, it'll
racetrack.
be red to tell you not to go out. And as long as there's nothing blocking the sensor,
Yeah.
in 3 minutes, that door will close.
Okay.
Sounds like a foolproof system, but people will want to keep the door open because it's nice out or doing something. They'll put a traffic cone in front of it, forget it, and then the door stays open.
Until
So-
2 o'clock in the morning. All right, I'm
Well,
sorry.
that's a good
It
question.
really bothers me. It
That's
really
a good
does.
question. Is there something, is there a manual switch to shut it off? So if you're having a function at the firehouse, you can leave the door open?
If you manually stop the door before it gets fully extended, then it will stay where you left it.
Okay. I'm just curious.
You know?
All right, so do we have a,
You fix one problem, but you create another problem.
Right.
do we have a second for the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Rich. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay. Now, the next item that the Chief would like to have on the agenda is a liner for.
Okay, so here's the problem.
Hold on real quick. This is a replacement of a liner for a portable pond. Then I'll let you discuss.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I've been looking into getting a liner for the porta pond because the liner split in a fire over in Newtown on Mutual Aid. It happens. We're trying to get it back through insurance. There's no guarantees. Just like the fire at Clark Park where we used all the foam and we tried to get it back through insurance. It didn't happen. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So in researching all this, the tank that the liner failed in is a smaller pond. He'll make them. Thereby, he's looking all over the place to see if he can find a liner.
Okay,
He hasn't found one. Hence, I gave you this quote tonight to show you that we may have to buy the whole thing. If we do, I would recommend we buy the steel. It's cheaper. It's just as good as the aluminum. It's just a little bit heavier, but you know, it'll probably last longer because it's not gonna get all banged up either.
Well,
We have two. Chief Ingram put the second one on the tanker at the time when he was chief because Stony Hill has none. So we have two port pumps.
you still have enough?
They have none. So we have two. So for me, it's important to get the second pond back on the truck.
So my first question, Chief, is a new one, does it fit in the current?
We took the
current
measurements.
system?
It should fit, yes. Now, the price, it would be, we would get this, the 16x10. The 16x10 by 29 inches high is what we would get. There's two there. You can even get that or the 23x9x29, which is, that's huge, you know? Very cumbersome to move around. They do them this way now, the way they are sized, because they want to keep it in one lane of traffic so that it's not bleeding over into the other lane when you set it up. So that's why the measurements are the way they are. They're not square. They're offset. Okay. There's also freight attached to that because that would come directly to us, you know, boxed. He said that the freight could be approximately $500. Like I said, he is working to see if he can find a liner for our current one, but he wasn't too confident that that's gonna happen. So that's where we are. And of course, I didn't have this in the budget because he didn't expect the tank to fail. You know, that would have been out of the contingency that, you know, that was all taken out because, you know, you guys told me, like, let's get the budget down and if I need something, I'm gonna justify it and you'll agree to it.
Did we know that this happened the day of the fire, or
Yeah, yeah.
so are we able to recover any money from Newtown?
We're trying, we've tried that, but
Okay,
it hasn't been successful. Like I said, just like the foam, when we used the foam at the big truck fire.
Yeah.
We tried to get all that back. That didn't happen either. And you guys know the cost of foam, it ain't cheap. So I was trying to get it all back. Didn't happen.
In my place, and my biggest concern would be just be making sure that it fits on the
Yeah.
folding bracket that's currently on the truck.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to have to come back and say, oh, well, we need the new folding bracket for the truck, because this one doesn't fit. And then,
One of the guys measured it. I'm gonna measure it myself tomorrow.
I don't, I mean,
Put steel in there.
He told me that it will fit with no issue. And I told him we would get the small one, not the bigger one. Still the cheapest. The bigger one's a lot more money. You know, it's another $500 just for the aluminum.
Gotta put the freight on there too.
What's that?
The freight, we gotta add the freight.
You said 500 for
Yeah.
freight,
He
right?
said approximately, he said plan on approximately 500 at least. He said it could be as much as 70, so he's planning on 5. So,
Yeah, 32.
this is not practical to be funded out of your equipment and supplies account. It's a relatively insignificant amount considering the other numbers we've been looking at.
That's what I say.
I would think that you could fund that through your equipment and supplies account, but
Chris, you said that goes insurance, that goes our insurance?
We're,
or
no,
or the
no,
fire was?
I go through Phyllis and we try and claim it on their insurance.
On
On their insurance.
where
yeah,
we were. in
That's
Newtown.
correct.
Okay.
That's what we tried to do with the truck. And it just didn't, like I said, sometimes you get joy and sometimes you get no joy. So. But anytime it happens, I'm gonna keep trying because, you know, there'll be that time when they'll say, yep, we'll pay for it.
Anybody got any thoughts on this, Peter?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay. Want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Go for it.
What's the amount?
It's gonna be with freight would be $3,203.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the new tank or the pond. And what do we cap it at 3203?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, with a maximum of $3,203.
If I can amend your motion to possible reimbursements by the insurance company, possible.
Okay,
Yeah, if we get reimbursed, the
Well,
check's gonna go right to the town.
yeah,
Okay.
it might help in
It's,
down the road,
yeah,
the board of selectmen, board of finance.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, that's standard practice. We get reimbursed when that check comes in. It goes to the company.
How long ago was that?
This was a couple months ago. We've been working on this to try and
Alright,
see if we can get the insurance, but if they work out, I'm like, I can't wait any longer. I gotta get a tank.
All right, we have a second for the motion. Seconded by Rich. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. So that should cover the items that you guys want to put on the agenda. So then lastly, the last item should be discussion of our capital plan. Thank you for bringing in your 5 years.
So I did it again because we all discussed and agreed that 5 years make more sense than 10 years.
Yep,
And even 5 years, the lesser, the lower ones could change drastically, we don't know.
yeah. And John, like you said, yours basically you would project out the same, right?
Correct.
First 5 years.
So mine are projected with an approximate.
Yep,
It could be lower. I don't think it'll be any higher.
okay,
I would hope that a lot of those will be lower. But, we'll see. As stuff starts to open back up from, COVID as it is, and supply chains open up, hopefully prices will come down.
Chris, on number 4, the BL 69, is that SUV?
That's a Tahoe, yes. That was our discussion earlier here was,
You just looking at the price here is 125,000. Got the other Chiefs truck for 107. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
but this is 2
but
years
Rich,
out.
that's projected out, and it's 4
Yeah,
years.
no,
from now.
I understand.
Which is
that,
what
but
I'm trying to be
I'm
fair
just-
and put the
yeah,
money out in front of
yeah.
you guys, so that there's no BS when something actually happens, you say, well,
Yeah,
put
I
down
was
107,
I
but
was
it's
just comparing this,
Yeah.
and I realize.
and I would have no problem with a pickup truck, just so you know.
I'm sorry, what?
I would have no problem with a pickup truck to match Stony Hills, because as you can see, my plan is to then kick that one down and get rid of the other 2 vehicles we
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
So we go down 1 vehicle also.
Yeah. Well,
Which
I
I
mean,
think
at
would be
that
better.
time, you could look at that,
You know.
that for the best for your operation.
Right. Those are the big ticket items in the next 5. And then in the following 5, there'll be a couple others, but
the radios with the load heads, what are those?
those are, well, see, so now I wasn't chief at the time, because I would have brought this up.
Yeah.
Did all the portables.
Yeah,
First thing was, and I still have a problem with it, was everything was supposed to be together, and I'm sure Chief Baker will agree with me. The PD wasn't supposed to get the radios before the FD. We were all supposed to be together, which probably would have been a better deal for the taxpayer at the town about.
yeah,
So, but we'll move on from that and get to what these radios are the radios in the rigs. Okay, they're the mobile radios.
okay,
So what that is the radio with a head up front,
yeah,
and then the engine, of course, you put a small head outside
okay,
so that the pump operator can talk
okay,
on the radio. So again, I estimated those out. The price I got just this year, just not even 6 months ago, was $9,700. So kind of thinking about when I have it in there, I put 11,000 per unit,
okay,
okay? Those would be Harris, not Motorola. Motorola, you're paying for the moniker on the front of it. I mean, to be honest, it's a great radio.
Yeah.
But you're paying a lot more for that name than you are for Harris. And we have Harris's in both ambulances, our MERV, which is the medical Tahoe.
yeah,
And Engine 6, and they all work great. You know, and they're tri-band capable, so we can add the 800 to those radios.
I have a question about the airbags, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Are they timed out or
They will be. I
so
know
that's why
Stony
they have
Hills,
to,
that just happened to Stony Hills, right, Chief? You guys had to replace them all. Yeah,
all right, so that's a NFPA or is some requirement there?
How old are they?
I'd have to get to the exact.
Well, that's-
but they're
that's
gonna-
Pretty
they're
sure I
gonna-
replaced them in 2008.
Yeah, they're gonna age out.
I replaced them when
Fred
they
did
aged out.
replace.
2008.
Yeah,
I use a set from 92.
so, I mean, yeah, well, those are probably aged way out.
Yeah.
And the problem is if something happens bad, there's a big liability there. Big liability.
Anybody even use airbags anymore?
We actually did, this past year, we did for a couple things.
Yeah.
The biggest thing we have too is not just the big set, but the small set, what we call the ag bags, the agricultural bags. Which you go as small as this, and you can stuff that into a machine or a small opening and pop it, where you can't get a big bag in, you get a small bag in.
Oh,
Maybe
these
get
aren't
some of this
airbags on the
hand
truck. These are airbags
These
for
are,
living.
these are flat bags.
Oh, okay,
Rich,
all right.
that you
Thank
lift.
Thank you for
No, these are
clarifying.
Application.
When he was
these are
talking about
extra-
small.
These are extrication bags.
Yeah,
is what
okay,
I should
all
say.
right. Thank you.
Absolutely. They're flat bags. They're varying sizes. We have two sets, which is a whole set. The agricultural bags, which are the smaller ones, and then we have the normal size, larger bags.
You might want to look at those, Chief, because I don't believe I replaced the agricultural bags.
Yeah, I
I only
think those-
replaced
those
the
are
big
coming
ones.
up. We bought those later.
Right, that's why I didn't replace them.
That's correct.
Because they hadn't aged out
Yeah.
yet.
So John, I had a question with yours. Does everybody have a copy?
No.
You had portable radios?
Yes, so as things either get replaced at the time I had submitted that, it wasn't finalized that we were getting.
I was gonna say, so the radios we're getting now should eliminate that, right? Okay.
Correct.
All right, just make,
They're actually here.
yes, I got that email
We
and
got them
played
today.
phone tag with Tommy, but have not thought.
They're not in service yet, but we have.
Okay. But do you have it, or I can make a copy of it? I have. it.
Thank you. John, you have to make the print bigger in the future.
That's the town setup, Rich. I didn't like that one, so I did it
That's,
on.
yeah, that's.
I did it on the
just used one that
letterhead.
was sent to me
You got,
by,
John, you got one more
Yeah,
copy?
that's
Mine's
the town
over.
from Brad. Yeah. So I did it on letterhead figure, and that was easier for me, so it'd probably be easier for you guys to see a little narrative.
I just used one, Brad here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, so I do have the same one. It's just this one has Bethel on it. All right. Oh, yeah, because portable radios is gone. Okay.
Oh, not to change the subject, any lights on the truck?
Absolutely none. As a matter of fact, I planned this week to go upstairs to tell them I'm out of options, so we might have to put it up for auction.
So the Chief's command vehicle, we kind of, that's out of this for now, right? We sent that forward. The 28,000 of the AEDs, that was all of them?
That was all correct.
Okay. What's the Paratex system? What's that?
That was changing to what Bethel currently uses for stabilization equipment. We use rescue jacks, which we were looking at possibly changing from rescue jacks over to the Paratex trucks.
I support that, because then we're the same. We're
We
electric.
used to have the rescue jacks in Bethel and
Yeah.
and we switched
We
years ago.
switched, and this way we're all getting trained on the same equipment, and And it's easy because if my guys show up out there, John tells them, go to this compartment and get them, and they go get them and they set them up. And same thing down here. His guys show up down here and I say, go to that compartment, they're in there, get them and set them up. There's no explaining anything. Everybody just does their job.
John, about the, for next year, they're replacing the AEDs. Is the whole piece of equipment has to be replaced or just
Yes.
the batteries or are they a timeout thing also?
It is, that particular model that we
Okay, it's
currently
just like
have
right up here in this building.
is being phased out, it's obsolete. So they will not support it any longer as
Okay.
far as repairs, they will not, they're not making supplies for it anymore. There's a
So this is what we discussed last month.
Uh-huh.
So,
write up that it's no longer being supported. And to give you an idea, right now, we might as well say that the ones on the, I know I told you that they were good, but those are the expiration dates of the pads.
okay,
Thank you for that.
But we recommended
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
replace
say-
half of these last.
Yeah.
last
so,
year,
yeah, to
right?
give you the general idea, the thing of it was, is their operation.
Yeah.
So.
They are operational, and the reason that they have the expiration date is because eventually the adhesive for the pad itself starts to break down. So if I were to use it today, even though the pad's expired, it's fine. I'm not
So our,
overly concerned waiting for it to
our kind of view was, we'll do it in a double phase that way.
be. So we could either do it piecemeal, or I can keep it on the 5-year plan and try and just put it in as a capital expense and be one and done and get it done. But the reason why I put in for that particular model was we were wasting a lot of money on buying separate pads for adults and separate pads for pediatrics. This newer model has a adapter key that will downgrade the voltage and allow the adult pads to be used as a pediatric. So you're only buying one. And the good news is most of the time you're buying them just for them to expire out because you didn't have to. But when I have to get rid of 2 sets of pads every time instead of one, because you have to have both an adult and a pediatric. Or to eliminate that.
Then the camera system cost, that's,
That was what I was getting from outside vendors prior to,
so then that's now down, right?
that would be down, and again, if I can get
The Nick,
the town, or I still want to get a camera system.
and the extrication tools. Now that's to replace something that you additional, because you have one full set of,
We do have one
Drop
full
tools,
set on the rescue.
Yep.
We have some that are gonna be obsolete that are on the, on engine 3. I don't want a full complement. I'm looking at maybe a cutter is better to be done with. Just to get something started.
Right now on engine 3, you have hydraulic tools.
Correct, it's hydraulic with a power plant.
okay,
a
This
portable power
is
plant.
why we did the big presentation out in Stony Hill.
yep,
And I suggested
Yeah.
quite freely that ARPA funds could take care of that
yep,
for both departments, and we could get rid of everything, all the reels that add a lot of weight to the rigs and everything else, and go to all hydraulics and be done with that. They're also cheaper to maintain. And the batteries that you get now, that we're gonna get with the tools you guys just approved for us, those Rams, those batteries are better than the batteries that we have currently in the other tools.
gotcha.
So they're always evolving.
Rich, can we get any kind of update from the ARPA committee as to their willingness to spend any ARPA
Yeah,
funds on public safety?
I trying to get a meeting together. Hopefully by our next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we seem to
Yeah.
talk about this a lot. and I mean, I think we're all in favor
Yeah.
of spending the ARPA funds on
Yeah,
public
yeah.
safety, but
I'd
Yeah.
love
I
to take
think
care of
we're
some of these
kinda-
items.
not getting any positive
Yeah,
feedback from the
and-
actual ARPA committee.
At least we got Tommy on the committee now, so we have a voice there.
Yeah, I would kind of like to
But it's
see
just
maybe,
taking a look about the fire right now today in the building. They have to do all that stuff, the glass, the doors, everything, done. ARPA money.
I'd almost like to
It-
see
it
them
only
get,
goes so far.
I'd like to
Well,
see
but
the
that's what it's
committee get
intended for.
Yeah.
it on their agenda to discuss funding some of the public safety needs.
I'm an advocate for it.
All
I
right,
appreciate you looking into it. You are looking into it.
Anybody else have any other questions? So, John, the SCBA bylaws, we did some this year, right?
Yes, we are current with SCBA.
Okay, so the next one would be the
And I
25.
don't believe I have any that are maybe one or two.
So your
Maybe one or
next,
And I don't. need
next
to
one will be
replace them.
25, 26.
I mean, and Bethel's that far out for their bottles?
Bethel's, we're in good shape, and you gotta realize that those 12 air packs, the public bottles,
That
are
was the ones we
still
just
pushed
got.
back, the new ones that we still haven't got. So I pushed back, I had in there, in the 10-year plan, I had them in there, I pushed that down into the next 5 years, where it can be added on the bottom, because it didn't make sense to have them so close together. That's the whole point, is I'm trying to get them spaced a little bit.
Yeah.
As Fred had them spaced. And then something happened in between him and me, and they weren't spaced anymore. You want them spaced because
Yeah.
they're expensive. And you don't want everything going all at once, you know? So this way, I pushed those back, the next 12 back. And then when the new 12 come in, like I said, we'll take the oldest 12 out of service, and you gentlemen can decide what we're doing, if we put them on the website to sell, or however you want to work it. But those will go away. Because the new ones will go right on the trucks.
So the ones from last year you didn't get yet?
No, nobody's gotten them, not even FDNY, nobody.
Okay.
The problem is Scott has issues with supply chain with key components for both masks and the actual frames and bottles.
Gotcha.
So until that, they actually shut down the factories. Until that solves itself, they're really not doing much.
Anybody else have any other discussion on these?
No, this is good to see, and we should forward this on to Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance.
The only thing that I would question, is it gonna be a major issue that in the same year we have the ladder truck and the
Yeah.
aerial trucks?
Well, I think you can leave them in there for discussion and, you know,
I think
for the
our
Board of
totals are
Finance
off.
to deal with.
What's that?
Totals are off a little bit.
For what's that?
I don't know, it says $10 million in 22 to 23.
10 million.
Is that total by years? Am I reading that right?
I don't.
Does
No,
10
we-
million for 2020.
Okay, just
Oh,
checking.
yeah. I mean, the print was small for me too, so.
No, I think,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's wrong.
yeah, it is wrong. 'cause it
Well,
shows-
that's, Peter, that's for the
That's
whole
for
town.
Bethel and Stony
That's
Brook.
for the whole.
Ah, okay,
The-
got it.
These
got it.
sheets run like
Okay, so I
this, you
think,
know?
I think that's built in now, so. no-
Okay.
Again, that's
I was
why
like, damn, that just
it's
didn't work for me.
confusing. It's very confusing.
I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah, that's horrible. We should fix that.
All right, then, I'll make a motion that we forward this as our 5-year plan
Oh, yes, something like that.
of projected needs to the Board of Selectmen for discussion to move forward. Second? Seconded by Rich. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Right.
Hey, Rich, I don't know if that's right, because if you look out in 2031 to 2032, it's got the total right. And you go the year before, it's got the total right. It's just that first year is a little
Well, give me
wacky.
132, I didn't ask for anything. I didn't go out that.
Well, maybe the town, the upper ones, maybe the towns didn't have to go out that far.
Wow, okay. It's good to know.
And I'm guessing at that.
Okay.
All right. No other discussion?
Yeah,
Go ahead. Oh, yeah.
well, and
We do have to have
on
another discussion.
Bethel's glass,
Yes. You were gonna.
do you want to prioritize that?
Yeah, I was just. saying.
I said I would
Yeah,
prioritize
yeah,
that, and I
yeah.
figured you gentlemen need time to
Yep.
peruse it.
Yep.
So at the next meeting, we can have a Q&A if you'd like.
Yeah,
and
maybe
explain
bring up-
why I have it the way I have it. And I'm gonna talk to Bobby Leonard and ask him his opinion too, because he's been there forever and I trust what he's doing.
If you want to try to forward us the
Sure.
priorities, we
Absolutely.
will get it out.
Not a problem.
All righty then. That covered everything. So we'll make a motion for adjournment.
For doing special meetings, we want to set a date.
Oh, no, we need to actually hold on before we adjourn.
Yeah.
We need to do our meeting schedule anyway for 2023,
Yes, you do.
because that's coming up soon, right? Because Lisa has to have that.
Lisa
by-
will be chasing you.
Yes, she will. Should we do that now?
Do we want to make a recommendation to the board of selectmen that we changed our meetings to
To a monthly.
Yeah, we'll put that in the document of the, so do we have to wait to schedule? Schedule,
Typically, you submit that, DJ, in December
yeah,
to town clerk.
Yeah.
Because your meeting should already be set for January of the following year.
okay,
And then what you gentlemen are gonna do is you're gonna go from February all the way through to the following
Following year.
January.
yeah.
That's what you're gonna submit to her. For
So-
those meeting
so
dates at.
Oh,
the time you're
Tuesday, I
gonna-
guess.
I mean, we can have, I'm sure we're gonna have a special meeting before January.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can work, you just have to put it on the agenda to make to do it.
Okay. All right, perfect.
You'll make her happy.
Yeah,
She won't be chasing you.
she was unhappy last year. All right,
All right, so are we gonna have a special meeting next month?
do you want to do it November or we could do it in November?
Well, why don't we do,
Or do you
so
wanna do
we can
December?
discuss, you want to discuss this, the organizational?
Yeah. You mean the.
The makeup of the board.
Word, yeah,
So, we can go to the board of selectmen and because it's a process, it takes a while, so.
so when's their November, Board of Selectmen.
The first week in November. Or
how about we can do,
what's the second meeting in November?
Second, the ninth.
That's the third Tuesday.
third Tuesday of November is
The
15th.
15th.
So that's your board of selectmen meeting?
Yeah, is what,
It's the 15th.
is the 15th, so could we meet
You
around
wanna
the
have it
7th or
before
something?
then, right?
Yeah,
Well, I would say either that or you have it the last week in October.
October.
Well, that's next week.
Yeah, that, I was gonna say, why don't we do, we
That
can
gives you
do,
3 weeks to pick.
Oh, November 2nd, the Wednesday.
we could do November 2nd, Wednesday. Is everybody available then?
Looks like I am.
I'll do it.
I think so.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll work.
You good with that, Rich?
Sure.
You sure? You look kind of confused over there. You look like you're in sweat.
I don't know if
All right.
I'm coming or going.
Then we'll make.
Yeah, because the board of selectmen will be on the
We'll do
Monday,
it.
so Wednesday, the 2nd is
We'll do
fine.
Wednesday the 2nd for a special meeting. There
Okay.
you go, 7 PM. Okay. We'll make a motion for adjournment.
Do you have anything that you want to have in advance?
No,
I will give you my little
Update.
order, okay?
what's that? Oh, yeah.
For payment, and just to clarify, you want a price from Jack for the opening system and the door openers and hardware.
Door openers that,
That's needed for the
that
openers.
need to be replaced.
Yes, yeah,
That I will
Just
call
the
them
motor
tomorrow
and
and
stop light.
explain that.
yeah, yeah, the motors.
New motors and the
Right.
green light, red light
I
system.
just want to make sure I.
And ensure that they're capable with new door or compatible. with new
Right,
doors.
that they're compatible with the doors in the future. Okay.
And then other than that, I think we're good. Right, unless something else comes up that you need to get on there, let me know. I'll check with you before we build the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right,
thank you for that, by the way,
no
for
worries.
checking. Appreciate it.
Mary, remind me a week before this.
Okay. I will.
And the holiday, holiday store.
It did.
And
and then
apparently
I-
Doug needs to be reminded like twice because he thought it was next week.
Oh,
All right,
It'd be nice if they came out as calendar events.
I'll second my motion. to
Second.
adjourn. All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Fred's right on the other side.
All right,
Aye.
thank you, guys.
All right. On to the other side of the world.